What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast. It's not actually a Pick Six Podcast. I am Will Brinson. I am your host, Ryan Wilson. Joining me. Oh, look at that sweet shirt. Where'd you get that?
I know people.
I wonder if that's what was in. No, I got some from Amazon. What, I supposed to get one too?
No, you're just the host. I do have something else for you, though. Waka, waka, waka.
Oh, no. You might want to hold on to that. Wait till we get a few more people in the stream. Of course, we will go live after this game. If it goes to overtime, which is kind of a reasonable concern, which we didn't really consider, I guess we could be sitting here for a while. We'll have the recap show afterwards, but leading up to it, we're going to try and get some of the OT in now, so we're not on here till 2 a.m. talking NFL. The Chiefs had the ball. 3rd and goal at the 8. Timeout called by the New York Giants. Should the Giants have called timeout before the 2-minute warning?
I don't know. I do know this, though. The Giants should have won this football game. We'll see how it plays out. But the first two drives to start the second half, 4th and 1 and 4th and 3, midfield, maybe 10 yards on your side of the field. Old crew cut Judge there punted the ball twice.
Yeah, not a good look for
and look, you can say, well, this offense in Kansas City isn't what it once was. Well, you keep messing around, the firecracker is going to go off.
They've had a good defensive game plan here for the Giants.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
The Giants have had a good defensive game plan for the Chiefs. And Patrick, oh my goodness, what a huge sack!
I'll tell you how it turns out on my feed.
You're really far behind.
10 seconds behind yours.
That's amazing.
Let's see.
Wait,
they sacked him again?
That's what I say. The problem is they don't have another timeout. So, it's basically going to be Daniel Jones with down 3 points.
Oh, they burned out their timeouts again. They did in the first half, too.
I know. Joe Judge is questionable at best. But they will, they'll have a minute of 107 left on the clock to drive down and either tie or win the game with a touchdown. And this is where, if you're a Giants backer, depending on what number you got. Now, some people got 11, 10 and a half. If you got 10 and a half, you're feeling fine. If you got 10 and a half. If you got 10, what's that?
I got 10 and a half.
You got 10 and a half. You got 10, actually. I don't know why they didn't even number on our site on CBS. I'm looking at it. Trust me, it's 10.
Why do you care about 10? Pick 6?
What's that?
Why would you even care about
Pick
10?
6, fumble Ruski, like
Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, exactly. Pitchy woo woo, whatever Scott Van Pelt calls it.
That Daniel Jones interception after the Patrick Mahomes
Chiefs defense is terrible.
That Daniel Jones interception after the Patrick Mahomes interception in the first half was unacceptable. I have no idea what was going on there.
For sure.
Yes, we know the Chiefs defense is terrible. We've all watched 2 months of Chiefs football.
So we're gonna get we'll get a timeout. We'll get a commercial break here between the kickoff and are they just gonna go?
I think they're raring to go. It's after 11:15. I think after that they move it along.
Are you sure about that?
Well, we'll see, but it looks like they're lined up to kick it.
Is that a thing? After 11:15, they move it along?
I think after they burn through the commercials that they're obligated to during prime time, that they start to hasten things at the end. They're not doing. That's my anecdotal take on it. I haven't Googled it.
Possible.
Don't hold me to it, but typically it seems like they don't mess around with a lot of commercial breaks once we get late into these proceedings.
It's also, a 3-point game with a minute left. You don't want to, because if you're like I was telling people at the NC State game on Saturday, there's somebody who comes out on the field with a big clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's counting down the TV timeout, and it kills the momentum in the stadium. So maybe that's why in this particular case. The Manning cast appears to be even further behind, but it's been enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
I only watch the main cast.
Yeah, I'm exclusively Manning cast.
Yeah, I know. I see you on Twitter.
It's good tweets.
They're tweets.
I find them to be engaging tweets. The one thing you can't do here is take a sack or obviously throw an interception or fumble.
There you go. I got out of bounds.
A sack is very bad here.
Yeah,
especially because second and long. You should. Oh, look, man, the slot is wide. Is that Tony in the slot?
Tony.
Teddy's sick, man.
Back again.
Oh no, you can't do that. Oh boy. Well, this is unfortunate for the Giants. Looks like we will not be going to look at this Giants fan just staring straight off into space. That's great. The Giants appear to be in some trouble here. We may get John Breech earlier than we thought.
Appear to be in some trouble.
Well, I mean, and by the way, I did a piece on the NFC playoff situation, playoff picture earlier today, and I was saying that if the Giants could find a way to win this at 3-5, they would be back in the playoff hunt. 2-6, they would join Washington, and
please stop.
Again, we went over this last night. 3-5, you are in the playoff hunt.
You're technically in the playoff hunt. There's less than 5% chance. You agree with that or not?
For
the Giants,
I don't know. I mean, I would need to. I'm gonna look at the playoff odds to see what the.
Do you look at the experts?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, what was he? What is happening? That was something.
Let's see. I'll see if it happens again on my television.
I probably will.
And it does. Go, big guy. What are you doing? Why are you getting down? Just keep running. Why'd you stop?
The Giants were at 3% coming into.
Oh, look at that. Wins over Wilson, right on track.
So
is that Stephen O or is that somewhere else?
Well, but the Eagles are. I think they changed the. No, this is Football Outsiders.
Oh, okay. Because I was unable to find the sports line playoff odds. I don't know if they're up there yet.
The Eagles at 3-5 are 21% to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's because Debo.
Is that right?
Debo put those numbers in.
How is that right?
Those are Debo.
That's a 25% chance to make the wild card, not 10% to make the division.
Easiest schedule in the league.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
crazy. That's high.
Nick's turning it around.
Nick's slowly steering the Titanic around.
This man gets it.
They're playing the Lions every week.
Flowers take a long time to grow.
Wow, but meanwhile, the Panthers at 4-4. What would you guess their chances of making the playoffs are?
Well, 0. I mean, I'm disregarding the Eagles' chances, so I'm going to say like 9%.
6%.
Yeah,
they haven't played the Buccaneers yet. 21%.
Hey, Debo just told you easy schedule in the league.
That is wild. The Vikings 34% chance to make. The Giants probably dropped down to in the Washington range now. They are 2-6.
They covered.
The Chiefs get back to 500, 4-4.
Yeah.
All right. So if anybody has any, I can't see the comments, so Debo will have to post them. If anybody has any questions they want to hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Sorry, I know that was an engaging first.
Brinson, this is serious, I believe, but some in the chat are telling you that you have a pretty massive bug at points crawling across your wall behind you.
Ooh, I love
it. I can't see it right now, but I'm trying to find it on video for you.
No, I don't. I want to mute it and I'm going to kill my cam and kill it.
I know. He's definitely, look at that. He's definitely not a bug guy. He's over there freaking out. Rolled up newspaper, slapping the crap out of the wall.
Where'd he go? Oh, wait. Look at this.
Did you find it?
I got 2 Brinsons now. There might be some feedback.
Oh no, what is going on?
See that?
Oh, wow! Look at that. I thought that was actually Brinson's lefty. That's
over
fantastic.
The Bill Murray poster.
Yeah, absolutely. That thing's huge. Maybe that's a runaway hair plug that got stuck to the wall.
Thanks for looking out. It'd be a real shame if anything happened to Benson.
Benson attacked by huge insect.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Like a bug. I love they had to turn his camera. What is he doing to that poor insect?
Yeah, that's a sizable little creature there.
Did you
see it again? Let me know. Thanks for paying attention.
Why'd you have to turn the camera off to murder it?
I didn't. I mean, because you'll end up taking a picture like me turning around and looking stupid or something.
Fair enough. That's
I actually didn't find it. It was gone by the time I turned around.
You see it right there on the screenshot?
Yeah, I see it where it is. Yeah.
That's right. That spider once tried to kill Breech. Remember that thing?
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
What's coming for you?
I mean, now I'm going to be watching my wall. I can see my wall. Yeah, I can see the.
yeah.
I mean, I like.
I'd be
I'm
more
a big fan of-
paranoid. I was gonna say more paranoid version of Brinson. Brinson with a bug on his wall, or with tennis on the TV to the left of him at 1 p.m. in the afternoon in the off season.
More paranoid is the bug. More distracted is
the tennis. Yeah, I hope the
Anything.
bug shows back up. I'm going to take care of him on live TV. I'm not afraid to kill a bug. I love killing
what if
bugs.
the bug gets you?
I'm not getting got by a bug. I wouldn't sweat that.
Famous last words.
Anywho, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's kind of bug season, right?
Do you? I don't remember having mice in North Carolina growing up. Do you have mice running around?
Yeah, occasionally depends.
We have mice really bad here, especially this time of year. And I'm in the basements where I do this. They start trying to get warm because it's getting cold. And the last week in the basement, we've had 5 mice in the mice.
Do you trap them?
Yeah. So you come downstairs and you see 2. They're tiny mice, but they're super dirty and gross. Yeah. So that's been my that's been what I've been doing. Sometimes you actually hear the mousetrap go off. Last year when I turned
I've had that happen. I was like, we had a mouse that was coming in and like trying to get our dog food or whatever, George's dog food, and I put a mousetrap out and I was sitting there, and you're sitting there on the couch, all of a sudden you hear,
yep,
and you're like, oh my god, what was that? And you're like, oh, that's a dead mouse.
That's a mouse,
executed mouse.
Ryan, how do your kids react?
I'm just staring at this freaking picture behind me, waiting for this.
My 14-year-old wouldn't even. He would step on it, not even know it. The 10-year-old usually comes downstairs with the dog food. If dog food is and feeds the dogs in the morning, he'll come back up and say, "There's 2 mice down there." All right. Well, what's going to happen?
The mice just like sit there when somebody comes down. They don't run away.
No, they're in the mousetrap. No, they're quick. You're not going to catch.
What kind of mousetrap do you use?
Well, the ones that I usually use are. I had to order some more.
I know. I've got some coming too.
They're old school. They're newfangled based on the old school version. They have like serrated teeth instead of the bar that comes down.
Oh.
The same effect. I think it's just more effective in terms of quickly ending it. Yeah.
It doesn't like strangle them and make them like.
No, I think it kills them quicker.
Yeah.
It doesn't cut their head off, which would be incredibly gross.
Yeah. I got some that are like plastic, and you put a little peanut butter in them.
Yeah, the white ones.
No, they're black. It's like black plastic, but they go in the little door, and then the thing goes, and it's instant. It's instant. Gotcha. It's supposedly, humane, I guess.
Humane. Yeah, it's humane. Right? It ain't mouse mane. Mouse terrible.
It's good for humans.
Yeah.
I want this bug to go.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a thing.
I think it was one of those. Look like the.
I don't know what that means. Little dance moves there.
Maybe it was a roach. I don't know.
Yeah, roaches would be not great.
Yeah, you can get rid of them pretty quick. Just get the exterminator over.
Flamethrower out. Take care of business.
Well, it's anyway. So Von Miller was traded.
Yeah.
We're talking bugs and mice on here on the Pick Six podcast on YouTube. Hit that like button. I don't know. Did we decide? Are we giving anything away, Debo? What's the deal here?
Yeah, let's keep pushing it. We're gonna keep strong with this 200 likes. If we don't hit it today, we'll just roll it over and give away the Pick Six T-shirt, and then we'll work our way up eventually to that hoodie that Wilson's wearing.
Yeah.
Decent. By the way, Brinson, our buddy Lewis sent this. Brinson sucks beanie, toboggan, knit cap, whatever you call it, and he's sending a truckload more.
Nice.
As well. So I'll send those. Either to you or Debo, probably to you.
Don't send them to me. Don't put me in charge of them.
Debo doesn't want them either, so I think you're.
You're the one. Debo can. Are you going in the office yet, Debo?
No, but I will. I will take them. I'll take them.
Let's be realistic here.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't want to put more on Debo's plate. He's got enough going on.
Debo, it's a nice. Lewis hooked it up. Helps grow the podcast. I think Debo wants to grow the podcast as well, and he realizes that if I'm in charge of them.
Debo's on to bigger and better things. I give Debo 3 months, and he's on to something else. Look at that laugh. He didn't waste any time laughing. He's like, it'll be less than 3 months, suckers.
That's right. Might be. He's got to get through the season at least.
Yeah, you think? Von Miller thought the same thing.
No, Von Miller actually did a bunch of heartfelt goodbyes. It's apparently, according as Patrick Smythe, Von Miller traded, by the way, to the Los Angeles Rams for a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. We haven't heard any conditions on those. I'd be curious to find out though, because I would guess that there's given that the Rams gave up so much. I mean, they gave up 2 picks to go get Von Miller. They're renting him for the rest of the year. I would think that maybe there's a condition based on how far the Rams advance in the playoffs. But maybe it's just second or third. That's a lot to give up for Von Miller,
but every time there's a trade involving the Rams, we always say that's a lot to give up for player X. They do not care. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but what are their draft pick situations going back to however many years?
Let's see. So they drafted Jared Goff in the first round of 2016, obviously, and they gave up a bunch of first round picks to draft him. The next year they had a second round pick. They took Gerald Everett, third round pick Cooper Kupp. Yeah, this is a good draft. John Johnson, Josh Reynolds, Samson Ebukam.
That's actually a really good draft.
That's a really good draft. Then the next year they had no first or second round picks in 2018.
What was that? Why was that though? Do you remember the?
Well, first round pick was for Goff still because they gave up, right?
I need to look this up.
Yeah, we need to look it up too. They don't have the trades here. Then I mean they haven't had a first round pick. Jared Goff is the only first round pick.
Right, Sean McVay has never had a first round.
Sean McVay's never had a first round pick. Correct, and he won't. Do they have one next year?
I'm almost certain they don't.
Who did they give up the first round pick for next year?
Where are these draft details? I just saw it. Well, Jalen Ramsey was one. Matthew Stafford, I'm sure.
That's what the Rams. They gave up 2. So they gave up 2 first round picks for Goff, which was 2016 and 2017, and then Ramsey they gave up a 2018 and a 2019.
Stafford
was 2021. Oh, 2022. Stafford's next year. That's who it is. Duh. Who did they lose in their 2000? Who was their 2020 first round pick? I mean, all right. So the Rams have 4 draft picks in 2022 after trading for Von Miller. So they traded their first round pick for Matthew Stafford, second round pick for Von Miller, third round pick they traded for Miller, but they also get a compensatory pick for hiring Brad Holmes. They traded I'm getting this off of Rams Wire at USA Today. 4th round pick traded to the Texans for in the Brandon Cooks deal. 5th round pick they have they have a compensatory pick and a 5th round pick. The 6th round pick they traded for Sony Michel, and the 7th round pick they have their own pick and a pick acquired in the Aqib Talib trade. So they have a 3rd compensatory, which is basically a 4th, a 5th, and 2 7ths. I mean, what a job for the scouting department. No wonder they don't send anybody to the combine.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's sort of crazy. Yeah, I don't know what to do if you scout. Maybe get a head start on 2023.
Over the Cap also has them projected to get a 4th rounder and 4 6th rounders in the future compensatory.
So the draft, the scouting department will be grinding on day 3 picks.
Yeah, scouting department is not worried about the first and second round picks. I mean, look, I don't. In theory, that second round and that 3rd round pick are going to be pretty late in those respective rounds. So it's not, they should be unless everybody gets hurt and the Rams just crater. But Von Miller's a really nice addition. Now it's a temporary rental.
Yeah.
But Von can go out there and he's not going to have to worry about a ton of double teams because Aaron Donald is going to be collecting those and he can get after the passer. And we've seen, I think, a good example of, you see the Giants tonight and we talk about what's going on with all these teams going up against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They want to play 2 safeties deep, get home with 4. And if you can do that, you can slow down these aggressive passers because we saw it with Mahomes. I mean, they won the game, but man, Patrick Mahomes didn't play well. And we'll get to that in a minute. It's just being able to rush the passer without sending a bunch of blitzers and having to play man in these blitz scenarios. That's how Josh Allen, that's how Patrick Mahomes kill you. It's how Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, all these guys kill you. And so Kyler Murray. So I think the Rams believe that by getting Von Miller, it allows them to be able to, prevent teams, good quarterbacks in the playoffs blitzing or beating their blitzes because they get home with 4.
What is the, if you're looking at Football Outsiders, what's the Rams Super Bowl odds? Because that will be before this trade happened.
Yes, it would, and their Super Bowl odds are. Oh, this is I just have playoff odds, not Super Bowl odds.
That's fine. Yeah, playoff odds. That's what I mean.
I mean,
You-
96% chance of getting in, 54% wild card, 41% division because the Cardinals have the tiebreaker head to head over them, obviously, and 17% to get the number 1 seed.
Okay, so 96%. They're making the playoffs with or without Von Miller. Let's say Von Miller gets them from 17% to win the conference. Is that what you said?
To get the number 1 seed.
Get the number 1 seed. Well, let's assume that's conference, just for the sake of conversation.
Yeah,
Let's
the
say
number 1 seed wins the conference. Sure, that's fine.
Let's say Von Miller gets you from 17 to 20%. Is he worth that second and third round pick?
Yes.
And I don't think he gets you more than 20% off of 17, right?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you're, you feel like you got the marathon, you got the first 25 miles down on the marathon, and you need to make sure that last mile is ready to go, then yeah, trade the second, third round pick. I don't have any issue with this. I was just trying to.
And I'd say too, yeah, no, I mean, I understand, but the schedule for the Rams is pretty. Next couple of weeks are pretty huge. They have the Titans coming to town. Obviously, no Derrick Henry. That is catching a big break. That is on Sunday.
I wonder if Peterson will play. I bet he does.
I bet he does too. Von Miller, Sean McVay said Von Miller is supposed to play on Sunday Night Football in LA, and he'll be in town on Tuesday. They hope to get the physical pass. He did tweak his ankle in week 7, but Vic Fangio said Fangio said he'd be fine to be cleared. The following week on Monday Night Football, they are in San Francisco against the 49ers. So this is a stretch of some premier games for the Rams.
Oh, stop it with the 49ers premier stuff.
It's Monday Night Football, man. It's a division game on Monday Night Football on the road. It's a big game.
All right.
They have their bye after that, and then they're at the Packers for a 4:25 game, which I would assume is the Fox America's Game of the Week or whatever. Then Jaguars at home the following week, and then at Cardinals on December 13th at 8:15. That would be Monday. Oh. Is that Monday Night Football?
December 13th, everyone knows, is a Monday.
It is a Monday. So what I'm saying is that over the next 6 weeks, they have a Sunday night game, a Monday night game, 2 Monday night games, and Rams Green Bay is Fox. Rams Jaguars is CBS, unfortunately. So
you know who was the most upset about this trade? It wasn't Kyle Shanahan or Pete Carroll.
Russell Wilson, Geno Smith,
Trevor Lawrence. He's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I was going to play Aaron Donald. Now they got Von Miller coming in.
Or Ryan Tannehill. I don't have my running back, and I got to play these guys.
Definitely Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, probably
Trevor Lawrence would shave his head to be Ryan Tannehill right now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, anybody would shave their head to get out of Jacksonville. So I keep waiting for this bug to pop back up.
Oh, it's coming.
Where it came from. Any chat questions?
I would love for Breech to be somehow in your house and pop up behind you with a Mike Myers mask on, and you not know it, and you turn around and just freak out. That would be
small window back here. Like you would have to.
He's very tiny.
If I've had Robbie almost sneak up on me. Like he thinks that's funny. He likes to sneak up on me. He'll walk really slowly. Like I was sitting here and I was like, I sense something in the room. I turn and look. He's like about 4 feet away. I was like, ah!
Yeah, my 10-year-old does that too, and I yell at him. Although I love scaring people, but it's different when you're old.
That's fine. I mean, it's I don't yell at him. I think it's hilarious. It's his little face. He's like.
Dab, Colorado, over under 7 minutes for Breech. So it's 11:39 p.m. on East Coast. Over under on that 46.
I'll say under. I'll say
way
40,
over.
I'll say
way
45.
Over.
Also, by the way, the Rams have, after that Arizona game on Monday night, Seattle, Minnesota, Baltimore, and San Francisco. And I know you don't like San Francisco, but Russell Wilson will be back for that. Minnesota's a playoff contender. The Ravens are good. I mean, they have a tough schedule coming down the stretch. So to add somebody like Von Miller when you're trying to secure this number 1 seed, I think makes a lot of sense.
No, I told you, if you're going from 17 to 20, if that's the math we're doing, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I have no issue with it. And it's not like they have a track record of blowing these draft picks. They typically tend to work out. I do know when they gave up all that stuff for Jalen Ramsey, Marcus Peters was playing much better for the Ravens at the time. Marcus Peters isn't playing this year because of the ACL, and Jalen Ramsey's playing pretty well. But yeah, I mean they're really good.
Of course, they also drafted Tutu Atwell, 57th overall, which
Yeah, I didn't love that pick at the time, and he's now done for the season.
Terrace Marshall was picked after him. He hadn't done a whole lot, but people like him. Creed Humphrey, Carlos Basham.
Creed Humphrey is one of the few bright spots on that offense, which sounds crazy to say.
Basham's been really good for the Bills. Aleem McNeil, my boy. Josh Palmer's been okay for the Chargers.
Had that huge touchdown catch yesterday.
Yeah, big touchdown catch. De'Ami Brown. I'm just looking at Amari Rogers. Trey Sermon. Could have had Trey Sermon. Yeah. They had a great draft in 2017. Although they do a pretty good job drafting. Cam Akers and Van Jefferson in the second round in 2020. I mean, I know Akers is hurt, but both those guys are really good.
I
don't in the third round.
They're not losing games that they should win because of they didn't draft someone they took in free agency. I don't think. I think
that's fair.
Jared Goff was a huge issue, and not a huge issue. I keep dumping on it. He was an issue, and now they've upgraded that position. No, you're fine. Debo will let you know.
No, he won't.
No, he won't.
Ooh. Mel Grunwald asks, AFC best bets for playoffs.
So the Bengals play the Browns this weekend.
Bengals fan holding on to hope, she says in the chat.
If the Bengals win that game, I don't know how they don't make the playoffs. They'll be 6-3.
Oh.
Clearly, they could do something.
Football Outsiders actually gives the Bengals lost 30%. They went from 75% to make the playoffs to 45% to make the playoffs. Based on that loss to the Jets, even at 5-3 with the second best record in the division, they are the bottom in terms of the likelihood to make the playoffs. Obviously, they would jump back up if they beat the Browns.
And they have the third best record in the conference, and that's only because they played fewer games in the conference.
It's a really bad loss.
Oh, it's horrendous. But I think I like them as we sit here. I don't know what the line is, but I like them to beat the Browns. The Browns are
Eagles minus 2.5. They have the Browns at home.
The Browns are rudderless.
Bye week at the Raiders, Steelers at home, Chargers at home, Niners at home, at the Broncos.
Okay, well, I take back what I said. They might beat the Browns, but then that's a little tough stretch there. Maybe they beat the Steelers, but those other games, even including your 49ers.
I think they could go 2-1 in those games with the Chargers, Steelers, and 49ers. Probably need to, honestly.
What's the game before that?
The Raiders.
Yeah, see, there are a lot of tough. Oh, those are tough games.
Yeah, those are not easy.
Oh, Breech hit the under. I think he's going to hit the under here.
Is he? Did he pop in Slack? Why am I getting alerts on this computer? What is happening? Oh, there he is. 42.
What was the over-under? What was it?
46.
10:45? 11:45?
11:47.
Breech, before you start the podcast, I want you to answer Mel's question real quick. She's concerned like you.
Oh, no.
It's on the screen, Breech.
You got to read it.
Read it and answer it. And she wants to know best bets for the playoffs as a Bengals fan holding on to hope. And they don't read too much of these percentages. I mean, they do matter, but Breech is gone. Oh my God. What if technical difficulties cause him not to
hated that question?
What if he got attacked by that bug that was at your house?
It's possible. So the AFC West, the Chiefs will clearly move up as they get to 4-4. And then, when these football outsiders, the football outsiders saying the football outsiders playoff percentages take into account, how the team is played, how they rate in DVOA, what their schedule is like coming up, et cetera, et cetera. It's not just simply, there are a lot of factors that go into it. The Raiders are at 60, and that'll shift around. Before the Chiefs win, Raiders at 62, Chargers at 53.5, Chiefs right at 49, and the Broncos at 26.4.
Well, Mel should be concerned because Breech, as Debo noted, just bonked out.
Yeah.
He said he couldn't hear us, but I think he got nervous and he's probably throwing up in the bathroom right now.
The Titans 96.4%, Colts 30.
Yeah, well, they're going to win the division. So,
94.2 to win the division. Correct, even with no Derrick Henry. The Bills 98.3 to make the playoffs. Pats actually 57.2 to make the playoffs, but 47.9 via a wild card.
Breech,
and as I pointed out in my column today, and on the podcast last night, can you hear us now, Breech?
I hear you loud and clear.
Dallas, before tonight, the Giants lost. Not that it really impacted that much. 98.6 to make the playoffs. Packers, 96.5. Tampa Bay, 99. Saints, 70.6. Arizona, 96.1. The Rams, 96 even. So 5 teams basically locked into the playoffs right now.
It kind of sounded like you were reading the teams off and then reading your favorite radio station from that.
I know
city.
it did sound like that.
The Tampa Bay was at 96.5. The
On
Rams
your radio
are
dial.
98.3.
Breech. Mel wants to know best bets to make the playoffs in the AFC. She's basically a Bengals fan holding on to hope. What do you think?
Oh, just hug the hope. Keep it right next to your heart.
That's the worst possible news you could have gotten.
So, Breach, I said if they beat the Browns next week, they're in my mind a shoe-in, but then I didn't realize the rest of their schedule coming out after that game. I think they have their bye, and then it's who is it again, Brinson?
Well, Raiders and Steelers and Chargers.
Oh, right. Raiders, Steelers, Chargers, and there's another good tough game.
49ers.
49ers, yeah.
So I will just say that I had in my preseason prediction, I had the Bengals at 6-3 at the bye. That's when Luck and Fora laughed at me at his radio show because of my 6-3 prediction, which now will come true. But in that same story, I had them finishing 9-8 because the back end of their schedule was rough, and that wasn't even including, like the Raiders, who are now good. And man, I mean, but if they get to 6-3, they beat the Browns, they get to 6-3. That's what you just said, Wilson. All you have to do is go 4-4, and I think you're in. You go 4-4 over those final 8, and I think they can go 4-4 there.
Who?
The Bengals.
Oh.
If they beat the Browns and go to 6-3, they go to the bye week. They have 8 games left. They go 4-4 on that back end. That puts them at 10-7. I think they're in.
That's probably right. I can get behind that.
All right, before we start the podcast, I want to ask quickly, who has the worst point differential without looking
In the NFL?
in the NFL?
Well, it's
Detroit.
hold on. It's either
You only get one guess, so use it wisely.
Well, it's either the Texans or Detroit would be my guess.
Okay.
Because Detroit hasn't won a game, so therefore they don't have a single game with a positive point differential.
They could have lost every game by a 50-yard field goal at the buzzer.
That's true. The Texans have been blown out a bunch of games. I feel like this is a trick question.
Well, I guess Detroit, so you take Houston. You got to get them with both daggers.
The Bengals.
No. Then I'm going to guess the Texans for Brinson. It's
I'll
the
guess-
Lions
I'll
or the
guess-
Texans. You already got it.
You already looked, Breach. It's the Texans. Minus 122 to minus 110. Then third, interestingly, third is a good one. The Miami Dolphins.
Think about the fact that the Houston
Oh,
Texans.
the Dolphins is the team I was trying to think of. The other team,
Yeah,
like the
minus
117.
The Houston Texans have won a football game, and I think they won it by like 16 points, and they have a worse point differential than an 0-8 horrible Detroit Lions team. That's
It just got blown out by Jalen Hurts and the Debos.
Pretty
That's
bad.
crazy.
The Texans are quite terrible. Do you want to? You guys want to do the podcast? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Ask chat. Chat. Do you want the podcast? What do you want? Podcast.
I'm ready to roll. Can't believe you
The
guys talk
chat,
about-
the chat says start the podcast. That was
Oh.
quick.
By the way, Breach, look what we got.
What? You got Brinson Sucks beanies?
And this.
Let's go to the-
Wait, what? Where's my box? All I have is
I
my
don't know.
CBS. I like this one, but I like yours.
Debo likes me more than you, I guess.
I mean, that's not a
Even-
surprise.
Wilson always gets his stuff. Always gets mail like stuff first.
Maybe I work at the factory. Did you ever think of that?
Or maybe it's being shipped from like a New York shipping
And
center.
maybe you live in like a big shipping town.
Yeah. In the middle of the state, a lot of shipping.
Or
Alright, let's-
maybe Wilson actually works for UPS as a side job.
Thank you, Tom. Start it. Let's do it.
That comment is directed at Brinson. And he's just
You
ignoring
missed
it.
it. By the way, Breach, there's a huge bug on
Huge bug in my house. It was pretty scary.
Brinson's wall, and one of the
What?
viewers
It was
saw
like
it.
crawling above my Bill Murray thing there.
So he's going to be on the lookout for that.
He's freaked out now.
Yeah.
We get freaked out Brinson on the podcast.
No. I mean, I'm just like I'm gonna turn around and like obliterate it with my shoe if I see it.
Yeah. It's going to be like a horror movie type situation.
Oh, by the way, I showed real quick. I
Real
showed
quick.
Robbie the YouTube from last night of Me
Oh, you wearing your
me
outfit?
wearing the Sussy Baka thing or the Among Us thing.
What'd he
And he was geeking out about the comments. Like I think it was Lucas who said like pick sus podcast.
Yeah.
Someone called me Sauce. He was geeking out about that, and then I showed him the Knuckles hat, and he was very excited. So
Knuckles, right? Yeah.
He's gonna ask that you host every show from now on in that hood.
entirely possible. All right, what number do we need to get to? Or I guess we'll do it. We'll talk about it when we get live. You guys ready to do this pod?
I am.
Yes.
Let's do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is maybe Monday, November 1st. If you are watching with us on YouTube, as we recap the Chiefs defeating the Giants 20-17. If you're listening in the podcast feed, it is more than likely Tuesday, November 2nd. Welcome to November, first of all. I'm glad that we all survived Halloween. We're going to recap this game. But first, I got to point out, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, hit the like button, whether it's your phone, your computer. I guess you could do it on a smart TV. I'm sure you can. Surely you can. Google's smart enough. Alphabet's
Palm
smart enough.
Pilot.
Palm Pilot, whatever you're doing on, hit the like button. If we get to
Your
how
Game
many
Boy.
likes?
If you're watching on your Game Boy, you can hit the A button. That's like.
A button.
How many likes do we need, Devo?
200 likes for the
Two.
t-shirt tonight. We're halfway there, and the podcast is just starting, so we're on track.
That's right. So 200 likes, we'll give away a Pick Six Podcast t-shirt. And is the more stuff, and I know this sounds stupid, but the more stuff that we give away, the more stuff we give away. You can see Ryan Wilson wearing his Pick Six Podcast hoodie. Also, if you are watching or listening, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button. You will get alerts when we go live, and that will let you know you can jump in and watch and listen and hang out. We go live. Let's see, coming up this week. So we're live for this Monday night recap show. We are live Tuesday at 1 p.m. Wilson will be hosting the NFL draft, the mock draft special, I assume with Chris Trapasso and Josh Edwards. And at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday, a special NFL trade deadline live show where we will recap if John Elway forgets to fax the trade for Elvis Dumervil, we'll recap that. Thursday at 1 o'clock, the NFL Picks show with myself, Pete Prisco, and RJ White. We pick every game against the spread. That's Friday's show that comes out in the audio feed, but you can watch it early and probably get some better lines and numbers. And then, of course, Thursday Night Football. We'll recap that live and the full recap on Sunday evening from like 12 to 2 a.m. Smash that like button. Okay. Like we'll get to the hoodies. We'll give away hoodies and things. Chiefs beat the Giants 20-17 on Monday night. The Chiefs moved to 4-4. The Giants fall to 2-6. As I wrote in my column on CBSSports.com, it is likely that the Giants are they're probably toast anyway at 3-5, but they can at least have a fighting chance. They gave a good effort on the road as 10-point dogs in Arrowhead. I don't want to say that Patrick Mahomes was too much for him because, frankly, he wasn't. The Chiefs looked lethargic. The Giants played a bunch of two safeties back the shell, forcing Patrick Mahomes to be patient and to throw underneath, and he just didn't want to do it. It's not in his nature. He wants to go over top, and he ended up throwing a bunch of kind of lame duck deep balls. Tyreek Hill, I think it was Andy Molitor on Twitter pointed out, he's like, Tyreek Hill, 12 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Wes Welker 2.0, basically, right? I mean, wild to see those numbers from Tyreek Hill. John Ross, actually the leading receiver for the Giants, 2 catches, 72 yards. Danny Dimes, 22 of 32, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Mahomes, 29 of 48, 275, a touchdown and interception. Wilson, how would you guys describe this win for the Chiefs? Because to me, it's sort of like panicked relief.
They should have lost.
What's that?
They should have lost.
They should have lost the game for sure.
At the end of the first half, for some hard to explain reason, Daniel Jones threw that out on third and not goal, but I think they had a chance to get a first down to one of the receivers. It may have been Sterling Shepard. I can't remember who, but he came up 2 yards short of the first down marker and went out of bounds. So that was an opportunity lost there. And I talked to you about this earlier before Breech came on. to start the second half. On their first 2 drives, they had 4th and 1 and 4th and 3, nearish midfield. They punted both times. Darnay Holmes had an interception late in the game, and O'Shane Zimenez jumped offside.
Yep.
The Chiefs had a ton of penalties, 12 penalties for 103 yards. As you noted, Patrick Mahomes insisted on throwing the ball down the field and making a lot of questionable decisions with the football and got away with some of those things. The Chiefs didn't play well. They don't look like a good football team. They are currently outside the playoff bubble as we sit here. The Giants aren't a good football team either, and they did it with a lot of guys down. Shepard went down during the game. Times I think Kadarius Toney hurt his wrist, and he came back in there. So they were certainly shorthanded, but that's no excuse. They had a chance to win this football game, and they weren't able to do it. You'll take the win if you're the Chiefs, but I don't feel good about it, and I don't think that changes anything in that division. And we just said yesterday, this is good news for the Chiefs that the Chargers lost, and yes, they made up a game on them, but I'm taking the Chargers all day long in a matchup against Kansas City. And right now, I'm not taking Denver, but I think the Raiders versus the Chiefs, I don't know that I'm taking the Chiefs.
I mean, what's the spread or just straight up? I'm straight up. I'll take the Chiefs.
Neutral field, I'm taking the Raiders.
Ryan, right now, who's winning the AFC West? Just right now. We don't need an explanation. I just want a one-word answer. The team name.
I'm grimacing as I say this if you're listening. Raiders. I want to say Chargers. I want to say Chargers, but Brandon Staley has been very disappointing to me in the last 2 weeks. I mean, who are you saying?
Chiefs are plus 170 at William Hill to win the division.
Brinson's going to sprinkle some more on.
Sure. Chargers are plus 150. The Raiders are 3-1.
Bay.
What's that?
The guy who sprinkles salt on his food.
Oh, yeah. Salt Bay.
Keep sprinkling money on the Chiefs.
And the Raiders are, what are the Broncos to win the division?
16-1.
Oh, there we go. Dean got it up. Yeah. I mean, look, I think you could say that the Chiefs have looked bad, and the Chiefs have looked bad, and the Chiefs, very concerning about their offense
and defense.
Or their defense is just horrendous. I mean, if they're going to win, it's going to be because they get some lucky. I would not want to be betting on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl right now, even at 13-1. That's the lowest they've been in a long time.
You're going to take both of you taking them to win the division?
Absolutely, yeah.
No.
Okay, good. Because I don't know. Like, you keep trying to talk yourself into the Chiefs turning things around. We're halfway through this thing, and they haven't played a good game yet.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
let me give you not even a fun fact. It's a sad fact if you're a Chiefs fan. It's a shocking fact for the rest of us. The Chiefs have a worse point differential than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're at -12.
It's bad.
That's a shocking fact.
Does that definitely include tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, the Chiefs they should have lost in week 1 to the Browns, but they won. Their losses are the Ravens, Chargers, Bills, and Titans. They're 1-4 in the conference.
I think if you say they should have lost the Browns, then you should say they should have beaten the Ravens. Because Patrick Mahomes threw that game away with a dumb interception late in the game.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that if you're going to say they should have lost the Browns,
I thought the first 2 weeks of the season.
Look at Cody Benjamin's question real quick. So,
oh my God!
For those of you listening on the podcast, our colleague Cody Benjamin, huge Eagles homer, so he's peacocking after the Lions win. Ask, what would the Chiefs' record be with Derek Carr at quarterback this year? If you had asked this question in August, you would have been canceled on Twitter. Like this would mental
asylum. Like be told you'd be fired.
But here's the thing:
we got Sean fired from.
We would have banned you to Alaska with swimming.
They would have more than 4 wins, I think, if Derek Carr was their quarterback this year. Maybe it's 4.5. Maybe it's 5.2. I think that the way that Patrick Mahomes has played, and that defense has been terrible. I get it, and he's felt like he's had to do more things than he normally might have to do. You think it's what?
See, I don't know. You say Patrick Mahomes has been terrible, but I thought this game was really kind of emblematic of how their season has gone. You look at the offense, and it feels like Patrick Mahomes feels like he has to do too much because he has to. I mean, did you see Travis Kelce tonight? He looked like he got possessed by like 40-year-old Jeremy Shockey. I mean, that's what we're talking about, tight end skills here. It didn't look like I don't want to say disinterested, but he looked the worst I think we've seen him in his career. I mean, he had that fumble, he had a dropped pass. He wasn't getting open. And so the only target Patrick Mahomes had was Tyreek Hill, and that's only because he's faster than everybody else on the field, and he can always get open by 2 or 3 feet. And Mahomes got him the ball. I mean, 18 of his passes went to him because he's the only reliable guy in that offense right now.
But Breech and Brinson made this point. Derek Carr will check you down to death. Patrick Mahomes is not in his nature to do that. So I wonder.
But if Derek Carr's throwing checkdowns, the Giants aren't playing a deep cover 2 shell to keep them from throwing 40 yards down.
No. I mean, to Wilson's point, like this is what Tom Brady did really well for so long is you're like, oh, we're not gonna let you take us over top. He's like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna chew you up underneath, and we're just gonna keep going and marching down the field. And I'll make smart decisions in the red zone and use Gronk. Mahomes is the offensive line for the Chiefs is not playing well. Mahomes is getting pressured, and so he's leaving pockets early. He's getting pressured. He is also leaving pockets early. He is, you can see it, Peyton Manning, the Manning brothers talked about it too, and it was obvious, but he's trying to force things down the field because for so long he's been able, for the first few years of his career, he's been able to get out of the pocket, run around and push, teams are playing man coverage against him, and that lets Tyreek run around or Kelsey run around, and somebody's just open. And he gets to anticipate and put it there. Well, teams have just changed how they're playing him. They're rushing with 4. The offensive line isn't protecting, isn't holding up, so he can't stand back there and pick apart the zone. And they're playing more zone, and they're leaving the safeties there so they don't get beat deep. And you saw it. You could tell it was driving him nuts to keep throwing to Darrell Williams, and he threw to him, I believe, a lot. He had 6 targets, 6 catches for 61 yards. I mean.
So Derek Carr would approve those numbers. 6 of 6 for 61 yards. That's pretty solid.
Sure,
over under.
I'm just saying to your running back, whereas you have 18 targets to Tyreek Hill for 12 catches. And I don't think the offense is stale. I think it's the defense is really bad. They don't.
You say that after they just played their best game of the season, though.
Who?
The Chiefs defense just played their best game of the season.
The Giants have 2 players out there.
Are you talking about tonight?
I'm not saying that stopping the Giants offense is impressive. I'm just saying that this was the Chiefs defense best game of the season.
All right. Well, let me ask this. I'll start with Brinson because I seem to know where Breech is going. Over under on 4 wins for Derek Carr as the starter of the Chiefs right now in 8 games.
I don't think Derek Carr is winning more. It's an interesting question from Cody. I don't think Derek Carr is winning more games.
I'm taking the over, and the over might be 4.5. It might be 5.2, but I don't think he's doing worse.
I think it's under.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not all Patrick Mahomes' fault, but this is his worst season without question.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. Somebody said it. They were getting absolutely roasted on Twitter, which is funny. They're like, or maybe it was Dov Kleiman was like, Patrick Mahomes is not a top 5 quarterback. He's got a long way to go to prove it. If you were ranking quarterbacks based on just this season, Mahomes is not a top 5 quarterback so far this year. Derek Carr has been a better quarterback this year. But circumstances, I think.
But if you asked any general manager in the NFL if there was a draft tomorrow with every player available,
Mahomes is still one,
yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. It's not like
look,
the struggling is a bunch of things together. You mentioned the offensive line, receivers can't get open, defenses are playing them differently, they're not adjusting well. There's just so much going on right now and Brent, that's probably why you keep sprinkling on they're going to win the division because it feels like they have to click eventually. But as Wilson said, we're halfway through the season. You're running out of time where you're going to click. So, I mean, it's an odd case because
yeah, I mean, I guess. Do you remember what was it in 2014 Patriots? I don't know if you guys recall they lost to the Bengals on a Monday night.
I thought it lost to Kansas City.
Kansas City on a Monday night. Excuse me.
And they're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was we're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
we're on to Cincinnati. And I know that was week 4 when they lost that, not week 8. It's a big difference. But they were 2-2, and people were writing every year. The Chiefs have replaced the Patriots because every year somebody was like, "Oh, the Patriots dynasty's dead." When somebody is at the top and considered infallible, inevitably people want them to fail and want to see them get knocked down a bit. And right there, look, Mahomes is 7. Also,
those are Cody Benjamin's rankings prior to the Week 8 game. If you're looking at it on YouTube,
been better than Patrick Mahomes all year for sure. Right.
And by the way, Breech, to your point about Patrick Mahomes, according to Football Outsiders, in terms of value per play this season, Mahomes is 9th, and just a hair above him is Derek Carr. So they actually haven't been that much different on a per play basis. But it's just the mistakes appear to be more glaring for Patrick Mahomes because we're watching those games a lot closer, I would imagine, than what old Derek Carr's up to.
The idea that no one's taking Derek Carr over Patrick Mahomes.
David Carr is.
But David Carr would take anybody over Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
But I think
the losses by the Chiefs have been to playoff caliber teams in the AFC. That's a concern for sure. But they've been to playoff caliber teams in the AFC. Coming up, they have the Packers in week 9, the Raiders
Derek Carr
in week 10, yeah, and the Cowboys in week 11. Man, they had to have this game tonight. Losing this game would have been a problem. What is their record?
Where are those games?
Green Bay at home, Raiders on the road. Green Bay at home, 425. Raiders on the road. Sunday Night Football. Cowboys at home, 425.
Oh,
and then bye. So what is their record? They're 4-4 after those 3 weeks.
1-2, and if those games had all been on the road, they would not be favorites in the
Wilson, you know what's funny? I think 1 and 2 also, but I don't know which one they're going to
either.
win. It literally could. I mean, they might go out and upset the Packers,
right?
Or they get to that third game right before the bye, 4 and 6, and they're desperate and they beat the Cowboys.
They're favored against the Packers,
right? I know, but I mean, it's still.
No, I said that I didn't think they should be favored in any of those games. If they're all on the road, I said.
Well, I mean, they're favored against the Packers. Breech and I yesterday did a podcast talking about the line. And by the way, that line is not going to shoot up as I suggested now because they beat the Giants by 3. If anything, it might drift down towards a pick. I think they'll find a way to win 2 of those games. Split with Green Bay.
Why do you? This is like the 49ers conversation with you. Why do you just keep talking yourself into the same things when it's clear that nothing has changed? Like, what's going to change that they're going to beat the Packers?
Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach with a track record of being able to fix things.
He's had 2 months.
Huh?
He's had 2 months. I don't care. Like, I like the Packers, like Andy Reid, like Patrick Mahomes. They all seem like decent people, a great organization. But I just based on the 8 games that we've seen, I don't know why you would think they were going to beat the Packers and or the Raiders and or the Cowboys.
And I would just like to say, when I said the Chiefs might upset the Packers, that Brinson clearly hasn't seen the most recent numbers. That the point spread is actually flipped, and the Packers are favored. That's what the point spread was when I got on the podcast.
You also had not seen those numbers. I'll take the dunk, but you hadn't seen those numbers. You caught a lucky break. You got a lucky break. That is unbelievable.
He Kramered that one. Fell ass back.
There is a chance that Breech was doing his picks or working on his picks.
I was.
And saw and was thinking about that.
What is the line now, Breech?
The Packers are favored by 1.
Oh, spicy.
So it literally flipped 3.5 points. Because of how badly.
Actually, you know what? I don't believe that you knew that, and I don't believe that you saw that because the line would have come up after the game, the Giants and the Chiefs game, and you were doing grades. You weren't looking at lines and doing your picks. You're doing grades.
No,
and you just caught a lucky break.
No, I update my picks record at the bottom of my pick story before it takes like 10 seconds.
But I think the takeaway there is that everyone, including Vegas, understands that the Chiefs are struggling, except for Brinson. No,
I'm fully aware that the Chiefs are struggling, Ryan.
You are was that a dog that's sitting in that GIF where the building's on fire? Everything's fine. I don't know what
sitting in the chair.
Yeah, that's Brinson sitting at Chiefs headquarters.
I mean, of course, everything's not fine. They're 4-4. It's not great, but I mean, stop acting like there's no chance the Chiefs can beat the Packers.
No, you said 2-1 over that stretch. I think
they'll beat the Packers or the Cowboys and beat the Raiders. You want to bet on it?
Yeah, sure. You shave your head if you lose. I'll shave my head if I lose.
Breech, where'd you find that line, buddy?
Bet MGM.
So you got him now, Breech. He's scrambling.
He's checking my work. That's what he's doing.
I looked at 4 different sites and I haven't seen it. So if you could kindly hold up your phone or your laptop to the screen and show us that line.
Oh my goodness.
Leave him alone. Well, Breech looks for that. Victor Garcia leaves in the. Oh, there it is, right there. Benson always tries to find a way to use the dunk button back, but still fails. That's all right.
I mean, I will take. I will definitely take.
Sprinkle some on the Chiefs as an underdog.
I know. I mean, I'll be picking the Chiefs for sure in expert picks. By the way, first.
Well, we only care who Wilson's going to pick since he's dominating.
This is 7-8. First week under 500 this week.
First week that Brinson's beaten me, I believe. And
what? The comeback's on? He said he was going to come back if he comes back.
No, he ain't coming back. But
Wilson's still 31 games over 500. I'm like,
I'm worried about Briscoe. I'm not worried about.
I'm 17 games below. I gotta wait.
Oh, you picked up 2 games on him.
I'm the Raiders. He's the Chiefs right now.
That's accurate. Yes, I'm much better at what we do, and you happen to get lucky and got a lead.
Clear 51-68.
Oh!
Imagine dunking on someone with a 51-68-3 record.
I mean, it is crazy. Like you can. I mean, I was in 5th place, I think, in my home league or whatever. We do pickups. We got like 70 people in there, and you have 2 really bad weeks, and like plus like 1 like pretty bad week, and you are just out of it.
Oh yeah, and Prisco's doing his little frog march right behind me. I gotta keep my eye on him.
I know he is.
He's making his move.
Prisco's moving.
Making his move, Ribbit.
I mean, I was having Breech had a bad record to talk some smack to him too.
No,
I'm above 500.
Wow. We only have 3 guys above 500 for the season. Right? 4
and
guys.
2 of them are on this podcast.
That's right. I mean, we've established that I'm not.
Yikes.
Okay, so Ryan is all right. Ryan, so you would bet on the Chargers to win the division or the Raiders? Would you?
I said the Raiders earlier.
I said the
3-1.
Raiders 2 weeks ago when they were like plus 1,500,
Ooh,
and you guys laughed at me.
no, I'm sure we did.
I did not though, so I should laugh at myself.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Oh, you didn't actually put money on it, but you said it on the podcast. I see.
Well, we were talking about who the best value was, and I said it was definitely the Raiders because they were tied for first at the time. They were plus 1,500.
Well, I'm sure I was still.
I want to point out too on the Chiefs that while I personally believe they will go 2-1, it is entirely possible they go 0-3 on that stretch.
Okay, so 2-1 plus 150. That's too high.
Well, if you
maybe it's not. That might be right.
What do we think the line for Raiders Chiefs at Raiders on a Monday Night Football game will be?
I bet it'll be Chiefs like -1 or something.
Yeah.
It depends on what happens against the Packers.
But I think just because people like you believe the Chiefs, even though the Raiders might be quote unquote
Well, if they
better.
beat the Packers, they will probably be slight favorites at the Raiders. So let's
As long as they don't get blown out by the Packers, I think they'll be slight favorites against the Raiders.
-2.5.
Yeah, it sounds right.
That's getting a little rich.
That would mean they'd be -8.5 against the Raiders at home.
That means basically what you're going here is that
I think it would be a pick.
the Chiefs going 3-0 here is probably going to be like plus 500.
Well,
absolutely.
All 3 games.
I'm trying to get.
Let me ask you this, Breech: better chance the Raiders win the division as we sit here, or the Chiefs go 3-0?
Raiders win the division. My God, the Chiefs. I just have an almost impossible time seeing them going 3-0 in this stretch.
Like they scored. What was the final score? 17. They scored
20 to
points.
17, and one of their touchdowns came because Daniel Jones threw a dumb interception that set them up at the 13-yard line. So they literally only had to drive 13 yards to get that touchdown. And you take that out, if Daniel Jones doesn't make that dumb mistake,
what's the line of the Chiefs and the Cowboys in Kansas City?
That game's in Kansas City.
I think the Cowboys are favored by. If Dak's playing, I bet the Cowboys are favored 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 sounds right.
So basically, like 3 kind of even games is what we're looking at.
And that's based primarily on the fact that people still love the Chiefs.
I'm going to make the Chiefs -2 at least at home against the Cowboys. And
that's bonkers. But okay, wins over
the
Wilson.
Cowboys are not going to be favored in Arrowhead.
All right, we'll see
if the Chiefs beat the Packers or the Raiders.
But as we sit here,
if the Chiefs lose both of those, then yes, the Cowboys can be favored. Okay. I'm just trying to get the numbers for a parlay on what this would be. Plus 548, plus 550, basically.
Yeah, so Breech nailed it.
Plus 500.
So would you rather have the Raiders to win the division right now, or are you taking the Chiefs win 3 in a row?
Well, those are kind of correlated, but I mean,
yeah, but you got to do it now, so let that inform your decision.
Right, I get 3-1. I'll take the 5.5 to 1 over the 3-1.
Well, Breech and I disagree with you, so we'll see what happens in 3 weeks.
Right.
My goodness.
I mean, I'm not saying it'll definitely happen. I just think
I know. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying that's.
Anyway, Breech, you were saying about the interception there.
No,
I was just saying that was, if you look at what the Chiefs offense did in this game, you take out that touchdown because Daniel Jones basically gifted them a touchdown with that Willie Gay pick that went down to New York's 13-yard line. And then Kansas City scored 4 plays later, and they only had to go 13 yards to get that touchdown. So if Daniel Jones does not just hand them a score, maybe Kansas City doesn't win this game. So that's another layer to how much their offense is struggling, because even this final score wasn't indicative of the game because they probably shouldn't have scored 20 points.
And the Giants, you mentioned the dumb interception and some of the Joe Judge decisions. By the way, pedantic point, Breech. You know the difference between a gift? You said gifted that interception between a gift and a present.
A gift, is that like you don't look a gift horse in the mouth?
A present is your
And
present.
a present is where you are because you're not in the future and you're not in the past.
You actually being goofy, but you're right. A present is your present when you give that to them. A gift is like something you mail to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can't.
So, literally, Daniel Jones airmailed this one, so it was a gift.
That's right. I guess in that sense, yes. Or he presented the ball to William Gay and he took it and almost scored. But yeah, not William Gay. William Gay's the cornerback for the Steelers. What's Gay's first name? Who intercepted that ball? I mean, it is Willie Gay. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, you confused me. I was like,
I was
that's
going
what I
to
said. I hope
wait and
it's
see
right.
how long it took to figure that out.
Yeah. I got him confused with the.
Let's take a break. But I saw a question in chat mixed in amongst mostly people just thrashing me, which I guess isn't apparently like it's just literally like blasting me.
That's called a typical Monday night.
It's called
In the Brinson house.
Thank God we got on YouTube. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, and we will answer the question: which division leader is most likely to miss the playoffs?
Oh boy,
After the break.
The Wolves' #1 pound-for-pound fighter, Canelo Alvarez, is planning to make boxing history.
Canelo rocking the hip.
But undefeated champ Caleb Plant stands in his way, ready to shock the world in a battle that's become personal. Only one can be undisputed champion. Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, Saturday, November 6th, live on pay-per-view.
So we'll get to the Giants in just a second, but I just thought it was a good question. Which division leader is most likely to miss the playoffs? Here are your choices: Buffalo, Baltimore. Is it miss the playoffs? That was a question, right? I think. Do you see that question in chat, Tebow? Certainly, it's miss the playoffs, not lose their division lead, because a lot of these are very close. Buffalo, Baltimore, Tennessee, Las Vegas, Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, or Arizona. I think that was a question. Maybe it was. You could also feel free to say lose the division lead later on too, if you want.
Lose the division lead. I'm not going to go with the Raiders because I'm just said they're going to win the division. If you're asking me, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals because, as we've noted, concerns about Kyler Murray's health. Not that he's incredibly banged up now, but historically he does have a history of struggling to stay healthy, and also more importantly because that division is so incredibly good.
Wait, we're saying lose the lead or not make the playoffs?
I'm trying. Divo's spending too much time in the chat. I can't find any of these.
All right. Well, if it's
which current division leader? This is Atheist for the Cause. Which current division leader is most likely to miss the playoffs?
As much as Ryan did
you guys
not,
just hype up. Wait, who did you say, Ryan?
I said the Cardinals, but I said to lose their division lead. That's what I was starting with, and then no one listened to me.
So who would you say? Who would you say for miss the playoffs?
Breech, go ahead, and I'll circle back. I have to think about it.
I think it's got to be the Raiders.
So just to be clear, okay, go ahead, Wilson. Who would you take?
I'm taking the Ravens because that means the Steelers are going to win the division.
Okay, so you're just not saying the Raiders.
I just said earlier while you weren't listening that I don't want to say the Raiders because I just picked them to win the division. So
right,
yes.
okay, you don't you admit that it would be pure hypocrisy to do what Breech just did.
No, these things are not mutually exclusive because you're making me pick a team no matter what here. And if you look at the standings, the Raiders are only one game ahead of the 7th seed, even though they're the 2nd seed. So it is very conceivable that a team that's only one game ahead misses the playoffs. But if you look at a team like the Cardinals are 3 games ahead of the 7th seed. So it would take an absolute disaster for them to miss the playoffs. I think a team that is only 1 game from being out of the playoff race has a better chance of missing playoffs than a team that's 3 games out of the playoff race.
And it's definitely going to be a team in the AFC too. I don't think
it's going to be a team. Yes, the division leader that misses the playoffs will be in the AFC because you have 6-1 Dallas. And that was sort of my point from last night. Again, in that column, I wrote 7-1 Green Bay, 6-2 Tampa, and New Orleans or the Rams could catch Tampa or Arizona respectively very easily. I mean, they're not far behind or tied with them, half a game back or or even essentially, or half. I guess they're both half a game back. In the AFC though, I mean, there are 3 teams that could catch the Raiders, and the Raiders haven't played the Chiefs yet, right? Yeah, they haven't played the Chiefs yet. Have the Raiders played the Cardinals or the Chargers? I don't
know.
They've played 2 division games.
They probably played the Chargers once, right? God, it's so impossible to remember anything in life anymore. They have played the Chargers. They lost 2014.
Yeah, they beat the Broncos and lost to the Chargers.
The Broncos lost to the Chargers. So, I mean, I think we all think, and frankly, we talked to the Von Miller trade in the lead up to the podcast, but the Broncos traded Von Miller. They're 4-4. I mean, they are acknowledging that they are probably not making the playoffs.
Well, what's funny is that none of us mentioned the Titans as a possible candidate to miss the playoffs, even though they just lost Derrick Henry. And I feel like that's because it almost feels mathematically impossible. If they just go 4-5 in their final 9 games, the Colts would have to go 8-1 to win the division.
Correct.
So yeah, I feel like the Titans
maybe 10-7, and the Colts beat the Colts because the Colts have to get 1 game above them because
the season sweep.
Tiebreaker. And if you look at the Titans' schedule, man, that Indy game was so huge for them because we've seen conflicting reports too. It's like one's like 8 weeks. Derrick Henry might be back, but then Adam Schefter of ESPN said he would be out for the season. They have the Rams, Saints, Texans, Pats coming up before their bye, but they still have games against Jacksonville, Miami, and Houston. They have 2 games against Houston left after the bye. So after the bye, they have 1, but they have 2 total. So, I mean, it looks like they should have, with or without Derrick Henry, 4 wins on the schedule to get to 10, which means Indy, like you said, Breech, almost has to go 8-1, which feels very, very difficult.
Yeah, and I think that I was just gonna say, I think it's kind of a semantics. Like when Schefter says season, he should be specific about whether it means regular season or actual end of the year. And I think the scuttlebutt is that Derrick Henry would be back for the playoffs.
That's what I was going to say. I would tell him to sit in a lazy boy until January 10th. And then there's no reason for you to be out there. No reason.
Because, I mean, again, if you can beat the Jaguars, Texans twice, and the Dolphins, you're going to be the 4 seed at absolute worst. Get Derrick Henry healthy, bring him back for the playoffs. I would, I mean, the Titans are definitely the possibility. I mean, the two most likely ones, though, Baltimore and the Raiders.
I was joking about Baltimore.
I mean, just only because, you have, it's almost the exact same setup. You have 2 teams that are 5-2, and everyone below them is 500 or better. Just there's going to be a ton of division games. You could lose those. They're going to be close.
Well, let me ask. Let's ask Breech. Breech, what are the chances that you think the Ravens don't win that division?
That they don't win it?
Yeah.
I might miss the playoffs.
I know, but I mean, you got to start somewhere.
I don't think they missed the playoffs. I mean, I would, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd give the Ravens like a 60% chance of winning the division.
52.6 according to Football Outsiders.
Ooh.
Yeah, I might even go. Wins over Wilson might be closer to 65%. Okay. The chances they miss the playoffs is actually less than 0.
Did you know that no team in the NFL had a bigger drop in their playoff odds?
Oh boy. Yeah, boy.
This past week in the Bengals, 30%.
Let me ask you this. What did the Jets playoff odds go from week 7 to week 8?
It went up 1%.
So you traded 1%.
It went from 0.2 to 1.2.
You know what? That loss built character.
Breech traded 1% for 30%.
Correct. Okay. Speaking of 1% teams, the Giants are probably a 1% team now. They were 3% coming into tonight. Would guess they'd be down around 2%. They are basically toast. What? I mean, I thought Daniel Jones played okay.
No, he played okay.
Their offensive line is a disaster.
Well, as Breech noted, he threw a terrible interception.
Yes,
terrible.
There's no one you're blaming for that. There was a pass to the sideline.
It was a 10-yard gain for Kadarius Toney.
L'Jarius Sneed fell down. It would have been a pick 6.
Yeah.
He had a couple throws like that where he's just blindly throwing the ball.
Hold on. The first possession after halftime, the Giants had a 3rd and 1, and if Jones would have thrown the option pitch, it would have been an easy first down, probably for a 10-yard gain. But instead, he decided he wanted to take on 2 Chiefs defensive linemen by himself. He got stopped cold, did not get the first down, and instead, Joe Judge ended up punting the ball on
4th and 1,
4th and a half foot, which just made them both look like fools because he shouldn't have punted there. And Daniel Jones also should have pitched the ball. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. So that's 3 bad plays, like three plays an NFL quarterback has to make the right decision, and he didn't.
Yeah, he's okay, but he's made some quote unquote strides. He ranks 25th in DVOA, just ahead of Jared Goff and Tua Tagovailoa before this game. So
That's a good list.
yeah, I'm not him, Jason Garrett, Joe Judge, Dave Gettleman. I mean, you could drop a list of guys that you have questions about. Danny Dimes isn't at the top of it, but he's not.
Well, watching the Manning cast, it felt like both of those guys were doing their best not to blast Jason Garrett.
Why?
Well, I feel like Eli's got all the connections in New York. He still works for the team. He does stuff for them.
He's paid by the team. Yeah, he's not going to.
He's not going to be. Yeah, exactly. He's
not so at one point, when was it? Joe Judge called a timeout leading up to a 3rd and 4 in the red zone, and the play that they draw up ends up with Daniel Jones throwing the ball 2 yards short of the sticks, and they gain 2 yards after calling a timeout. And Michael Strahan had been talking about, like, why these guys throw short of sticks? Why they should throw 6? Like, that's what I'd love if I'm a defender. I want that happening. And when it happened, he was like losing his mind. Because I guess it was the second quarter because it was Strahan. Third quarter for Strahan. And or whatever.
I think it was second. It was a 2nd and 10 from Kansas City or
third. Yeah. It was a 2nd and 10. They gained 6 yards. It's 3rd and 4, and they ended up settling for a field goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they went 8 plays, 86 yards, and 352. And it looks like they're going to, have a chance to tie it right before halftime or, before the 2-minute warning. And they throw this ball short of the 6. Strahan's losing his mind. And Eli's like, he's like, man, I know you can't say anything bad about the Giants because you're being paid. But it's like, come on. And I don't know. It feels like I feel like Daniel Jones is going to end up being a good quarterback for some other team in his second stint.
Said about a lot of players on this team. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard it. I put it in Slack, but Joe Judge can explain part of their struggles.
At every single stadium this year, home and away, I've had issues personally.
Is that your staff?
Look, I don't know. Look, I don't want to make this all about headsets. We have things. I'd say this: whoever's in charge of it, whoever the guys who, look, Jordan, I don't know the exact answer. I don't know if that comes more through the league or us exactly, but they better fix it fast. Yeah, that's it. Look, I'll get you all the details and stuff later on who does all that stuff. We get the communication back. We say, hey, listen, these things have been an issue, and then we get told they've adjusted this, they've done this, whatever it is. Like I said, we've tried to adjust and use different hardware. It hasn't been allowed, so we'll keep on moving on. Again, look, I don't want to make this about stupid headsets. That's not what this is about. That wasn't the factor in the game. We got to do other things on our own to make sure we have success.
Wait, what?
If it's not an issue, why are you bringing it up? Don't even mention it.
Did he bring that up by himself?
I don't know. I don't know what the question was. I'm sure I would like to think that someone prompted him to answer that question. But look, man, here's the thing. If the headsets aren't working,
somebody probably said, how are you so bad at managing the clock? And I'm sure he just went on that tirade.
Let me ask you this. If the headsets have been a problem for 7 straight weeks for you as the head coach, would you have a backup plan like hand signals, signs?
I mean, if we had podcast audio issues and Debo took care of it, right? He's found a way, had to break arms to get these get these this nice equipment for us. I mean, you're running a football team, bro.
When you start blaming the headsets, that's probably the sign that you shouldn't be a head coach anymore.
It's worth noting though, the league handles all the communication, so that's not the Giants. That's what he was trying to say. But even still, if they're not working, have a backup plan that is old school manual, whether it's a sheet of paper, whether it's, like I said, hand signals. You could call out and say 27, and you look on your wristband for 27.
What if the NFL looks into this and they're like, Joe, the headsets shut off at the 15-second mark, bro? Every other coach knows that.
But he's the only one who's had issues with the headsets, and he said home and away.
By the way, Jason Garrett's like, my headsets haven't worked for 10 years, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. Jason Garrett said, so I'm talking about this. Yeah, that's when you fall to 2-6 and you realize it. And here's the thing is that I think that it's likely, I guess, that the Giant ownership group will fire Dave Gettleman. And if they fire Dave Gettleman, one would hope that they're smart enough to also move on from Joe Judge, because you just can't have him. You can't have Joe Judge coming back for a 3rd year and Dave Gettleman's fired. Art Stapleton tweeted, Joe Judge says he threw his headset down after the fake field goal because the Giants did not execute the right way.
This is back in October 2020.
This is from. Oh, sorry, Debo. Oh, Debo has a theory that he broke it in October of last year, and they haven't fixed it since.
That's a great theory.
I mean,
Oh,
can
that's
you not-
hilarious.
Here's what I always come back to, and Breech brings this up because I bring it up all the time. How is Bill Belichick responding to that question? How's Mike Tomlin responding to that question? How's Andy Reid
well, I
responding
mean,
to that
Mike Tomlin has complained about the headsets in Gillette Stadium, but that's probably something that's real. And you never hear anybody else. You never hear anybody else complain about headsets like this.
I don't even know.
Wild.
Again, it doesn't matter if the question was, how much do you hate headsets and how much did it factor into the loss today? You just say it's not an issue. We're talking to the league and you move on.
Belichick would have just, somebody said, well, why'd you botch the timeouts? And Belichick would have said, I did what's best for the team.
Right. It's my fault. We didn't coach well enough. We didn't play well enough. We'll get better.
He wouldn't have blamed the NFL and thrown him under the bus for 7 weeks of non-headset functioning.
So let's say the Giants finish with a poor enough record that Dave Gettleman is fired. Do you think that Joe Judge will also be shown the door?
Well, let me just tell you that the Giants' next 2 games are Raiders and Buccaneers.
That's not good.
Let me ask you this, Breech. Better chance the Chiefs go 3-0 or better chance the Giants go 2-0?
Better chance the Chiefs go 3-0.
Yeah, I think 10 times out of 10.
So, then the question becomes: does the new head coach and the new GM keep Danny Dimes around for a year? I would say probably, just because you got him on the rookie contract.
Right. Unlike a coach or a GM or someone that you can just sort of move on from, you have to have a backup plan for your quarterback situation.
But and the thing is, they're trending towards a high pick, but probably not more, a top 10 pick, not like a top.
But also, as one of you said, Brinson, you said it, like Daniel Jones might actually play well with a more competent coaching staff.
Yeah, no, think about this. Like, what if he's in New England? He's probably making more mistakes than Mac Jones because he's prone to make mistakes and turn the ball over, but it ain't looking like what we've seen in the last 2.5 years.
No, I mean, don't you think if you put him on like the Rams right now, that we're talking about him as he's
worse than
Pro Bowler?
He's worse than Jared Goff. He's on the Rams.
I
I don't get
about that. I bet the Rams are.
Jared Goff wasn't bad in LA. I have memories of it being.
The Rams are 5-3 with Daniel Jones right now.
Yeah, all right. That's asking a lot, but okay.
Giants who currently have the 5th overall pick according to tankathon.com.
Debo, would you rather have Jalen Hurts or Danny Dimes?
Jalen.
I mean, he's just he's just blind.
No, I mean, just give it.
Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, Jason Garrett, gotta go. Who else do they have on their staff?
Freddie Kitchens.
That's correct. I mean, got to go. Everybody's got to go. You got to clean house. That's the problem with the Giants. They haven't cleaned house in a long time. They
did clean house. They just hired Joe Judge.
No, they didn't clean house. They need a clean house.
But they're the girlfriend that keeps dating idiotic boys. Like now what do? Like they hired Joe Judge. They thought they had their guy. Who's in charge of the hiring process now? It has to be someone different. If they thought Joe Judge was a home run, and clearly
you got to bring in the GM.
You got to get that right. Who's the GM before Dave Gettleman?
Jerry Reese.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It was Jerry Reese, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
and before that, because Jerry Reese took over for Ernie Accorsi, I think.
Oh, there haven't even been that many GMs. All right. No, they went to Super Bowls. Dave Gettleman.
Dave Gettleman brags about how many times he went to Super Bowl. Yeah, it was Ernie Accorsi, then Jerry Reese, and then Dave Gettleman. He loves to brag about how he went to the. They've only had 6 GMs in their history. That's wild.
That is wild.
From 1947 to 2021, they had 6 general managers. George Young, so they had Ray Walsh, 47 to 73. That's a haul. Andy Robustelli from 74 to 78. George Young, 79 to 97. Ernie Accorsi, 98 to 06. And then Jerry Reese was there for 10 years, and Gettleman's been there for 3.
God, he's not been there for 3.
Feels like a lot. Well, he was obviously in the personnel department for a while. Anyway.
And that's because everybody on that list you just named either won a championship or went to a Super Bowl and built a team that was good. And the only person who has not.
Who?
I won't name names.
I'm not
going to do it.
So
it rhymes with Mo Mudge.
I think you mean it rhymes with
Ray Gettleman.
Mo Mudge is a funnier name. That's why.
Mo Mudge. It doesn't rhyme with it though. It doesn't make sense. His name's Joe Fudge.
There are some rights. Like Andrew Thomas on IR. That's a problem. It's been an issue. The offensive line clearly an issue.
It doesn't matter.
Kadarius Toney, but Andrew Thomas has played well this year before he got hurt. Kadarius Toney's also hurt. Has looked really good when he played. Evan Ingram has flashed a little bit, but they're clearly going to move on from him.
I will say the Giants had a good defensive game plan tonight against the Chiefs, and we talked about it a little bit. And is that say more about the Giants putting together a good defensive game plan, or does that say more about that everybody's kind of doing the same thing against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs still have not figured out how to beat it?
Patrick Graham, by the way, one second. Patrick Graham, by the way, former Patriots assistant, he's actually doing well as defensive coordinator. I don't know if this means he should be a head coach, because sometimes it doesn't work out that way, especially in the Belichick coaching tree, but he's doing well. But I think it says more about the Chiefs' inability to do things offensively.
Well, and as Debo pointed out, I missed this when you put the Tankathon draft order, but they actually have, because the Bears have been terrible too, they have 2 top 11 picks right now. So you can attract, if you had Daniel Jones, where it's like, look, we don't need you to fix Daniel Jones, but just keep him around for another year, like see if you can make it work. And if you want to draft somebody, if you have 2 top 11 picks, or trade down and wait another year.
See if they will give up Patrick Mahomes for your 2 top 11 picks.
So, hey, a little sneak peek
up on you, but at least call.
Sneak peek for the draft show tomorrow. In my latest mock draft, I have the Giants picking 5th, taking Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, who's a superstar in the making, but I don't know if he's going to change your
beast, man.
And then taking an offensive lineman at the 9th pick. So they're not sexy picks. They're not going to fix this team. I think it has to start with the people making the personnel decisions and the in-game coaching decisions if you're going to change the trajectory of this program, as they say in college.
Yep. Okay. That'll do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll have YouTube shows at 1 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Make sure and swing by. We'll be live, of course, at those times. Breech, Wilson, and Brinson. See you guys later.